and welcome back to In My Hometown with Jamie Stein, where we get into the business of our neighbors.
Today, I am sitting down with Dan Ponce. He is the WGN anchor and founding member of music group Straight No Chaser.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for agreeing to sit down with me.
Of course, it's great to be here. I love being in my hometown to record this.
Exactly. Well, we've never met before today, but I feel like I know you. Do you get that all the time?
I do, because I grew up in Wilmette. So coming back to Glencoe, I run into a lot of people who I've not only grown up with, but also just who, watch me on the news or who, know my music as well. Good job on getting my resume out of the gate there. I do. I love interacting with people, and people say, oh, I saw this segment that you did, or saw you this morning on TV, and I knew your family growing up, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I'm from Wilmette too. I didn't realize that, different times. And you went to New Trier.
Yep.
That's great. And you come from a journalism family. It's the family business with your father and your brother. Your father is
right. My
Phil.
father, Phil Ponce, he retired a couple years ago from WGV-TV. He started out at CBS in Chicago.
Him.
Yes, he's been on for a long time. Kind of an iconic, trailblazing Latino journalist in the city. We're so proud of him. And then my brother. We've all worked at different stations over the years. I started.
I won't ask you what the best station is, but okay.
Well, I'll tell you.
WGN.
WGN Morning News is definitely the place to be in the mornings. And so my brother, he started out at NBC in Chicago at Channel 5, and now he's on Fox 32. And he's also a morning anchor, so you have your choice of Ponce brothers in the morning, and you're going to want to choose WGN for sure.
I definitely. Are you kidding? And you've sort of spread the love around to the different stations around Chicago, and how amazing the Chicago market is a great one. And
yes, it is.
Yes.
It is. I think it's the best news market in the country.
Yes.
I would never want to work in New York or LA or, Chicago, I think, has the most vibrant, eclectic, diverse news market. I mean, we cover everything. And, I started out as a general assignment reporter for Channel 7, the ABC station here in town. And gosh, I covered every single story you can imagine, from crime, fires, sports-related stories, politics, all over the suburbs, in the city, in every neighborhood of the city. So, I know the market very well. It's about 20 years now that I've been doing this.
Wow, that's amazing. So, given that you grew up with it, is this something that you always wanted, or was music in there too? I suppose they were both in there.
They were. I've always had kind of a dual career. My undergrad, I went to Indiana University, and I was a music major there. I did a outside field in journalism, but music was my track. I grew up in Wilmette playing piano, doing the orchestras at New Trier, all the musicals and the plays. So I really thought I was on a full-time performance track. And I loved doing music, and I loved being at IU, best music school in the country. And that's where I started Straight No Chaser. It was at IU. So I got to kind of have this dual career as a musician and as a journalist. I decided finally, music, I tried it in a couple of different capacities, lived in Atlanta for a while, and, had the record contract and all that didn't really go anywhere at the time. But I decided I wanted to get a master's in journalism and really focus on television. So I went to Medill and got my master's at Northwestern, and that was 2004. I got to think about it now.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's great.
Right.
And so, those are two. They seem very different tracks, but there are some parallels. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. I've always told people that. You don't think there's a lot of comparisons between being a TV anchor and being a cappella singer, but honestly, you're communicating with the live audience. Yeah. It's just different, and that communication translates in a lot of ways in performance and just connecting with people. So I think that I've tapped into both my skill sets throughout my career, and I feel so lucky that I've had the platforms to do both.
Of course. Those are dreams just one of those would be a major dream, and the fact that you're doing both. Where did the name Straight No Chaser come from?
That's funny. I'm trying to think back. Yeah, no. So I'm thinking back to my undergrad at Indiana University. So I started that group in 1996, my sophomore year. And we say that we named it after a very famous jazz song by Thelonious Monk called Straight No Chaser. That's like one of his famous songs. But Indiana is a dry campus, but there's still a lot of You know, students like to dabble in a drink or two on campus every now and then.
So we thought it was kind of
college
campus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've kind of kept with the drinking theme throughout. But it wasn't until YouTube happened when, and this is 2008, and we uploaded a video from our undergrad year, and that video went viral back when things were kind of going viral. You know, that wasn't an expression before YouTube and for all this and, you know, social media. And so when our undergrad video went viral, we got noticed by Atlantic Records, and they said, let's make an album. And so the original group from Indiana, the group that I started as an undergrad, got together, and we were spread across the country. I was working at Channel 7 at the time. We made an album, and it went to #1 on the charts. And we quit our jobs, and we went on tour for a couple of years. And
That's
the group blew up.
crazy. Was that a hard decision for you to make, or it was not even a question?
Well, it was, because I was deeply embedded in the news scene in Chicago. I had my dream job as a reporter at the #1 station, but I also felt like I couldn't pass up this opportunity. I was single at the time. I didn't have kids. I didn't have a mortgage. I was like, you know, I'm going to do this. And I quickly realized after a couple of years that touring really wasn't the thing for me. I had met my girlfriend, who became my wife at the time, and I was like, you know, I really want to maybe have a more, you know, steady and I wanted to kind of settle down.
Right. What was that like, performing in front of crowds like that?
It was amazing. I mean, we perform. I mean, the group still. I mean, they just got back from Asia. I mean, it's a massive international, you know, touring group. But we did the Chicago Theater, and we do, you know, 3,000 to 5,000 seats of concerts all over the country, and it was exhilarating. It was wonderful.
Yeah. Is there dancing involved in it too? Like,
there's choreography.
Some
you
choreography.
Know,
yes.
yeah. If you look up Straight No Chaser on YouTube and watch all the videos, you'll see what the performance is like. I don't think it's you know, there's much dancing, but there is staging and there's some movement. Yeah.
Did this all coincide with the movie? There's a
Pitch Perfect.
Yes.
You know, I think that Pitch Perfect kind of I think that it was a symbiotic relationship. Yes. I think what Straight No Chaser did was we took mainstream what had already been on college campuses for decades. The college campus, the Yale Whiff and Poofs, you know, all the, you know, every college campus has their a cappella group. But Straight No Chaser was the first group to really, really go mainstream in that genre. I think with Pitch Perfect, you have groups like Pentatonics. Yes. They kind of elevated the genre and kind of really reinvented it.
Yeah, it is very cool. And for me and for many others, it sort of put it on the map for you to sort of see it. But it was, like you're saying, around for a long time.
Right.
Yeah, so great. Yeah. What do your kids think of you?
Well, I just said, so I have one daughter. She's 12. She's getting ready to be a 7th grader at Central here in Glencoe. She loves it. I mean, I've been teaching her piano. She's very talented. She doesn't quite have that itch to be a stage performer just yet. She has a great voice. You know, I think maybe she'll do some performing arts, you know, when she gets to a career. But she loves it. She's been to Straight No Chaser concerts with me.
Okay.
And I'll still get up there, even though I'm not a full-time member of the group anymore.
Yes.
I mean, I haven't for 15 years, but. They'll bring me up on stage occasionally, and I still do some writing for them, and she's super proud. And she watches me on TV, you know, so I think she's super proud.
I know, I'm sure she's super proud no matter what.
Yeah. Meet Aveline, clean, delicious wine made with organic grapes and nothing you don't want. No added sugar, no unnecessary ingredients, just beautifully crafted wine for any occasion. Pour a glass and feel good about it.
I'm amazed that you've been able to sort of keep both going to the degree, and how wonderful that must feel.
It is, and I have a new music project that I'm launching, very, very recent. I'm going to try and do the kind of Frank Sinatra, Harry Connick Jr. crooner vibe.
Okay.
And I'm going to perform with a piano, and upright bass, and drums, and kind of do some shows around the Chicago area, just to kind of see where it goes. This is literally in the last couple of months.
Okay, well, where do you think we'll
Well, if you go to my Instagram page, I have a link to my music page right there.
So cool.
So people can learn about that. But literally, this is just starting. I did a show in the city at Astor Club a few months back, and it was a lot of fun. So I think I'm going to try it. So that's going to be my new music venture.
Yeah. What do your colleagues over at WGN
say
about
about
this? They love it. Yeah,
and they see, you know, I'm able to do with WGN Morning News, for people who watch the show, it's very loose. We have a lot of comedy, we have a lot of music, we have a lot of really fun guests. So I get to do, you know, music little bits here and there. So it's a perfect fit for me. For,
yeah,
for
I met the
for-
folks. I met Larry Potash. Years and years ago.
Yeah.
They have a lot of fun over
They're
there.
great, yeah. He and Robin are kind of the, and Pat Tomasulo,
Yeah.
and Paul Conrad, and Annabella Ball,
Yes,
and Dean
Paul
Richards.
Conrad, that's,
they are the founders of WGN
Yeah.
Morning News, and
Yeah.
they really took it to the where it is right now. It's the top morning show. It's a, people love to tune into us.
It's got a hometown feel to it.
It does,
in a
yeah.
very
Yeah,
big
it's
sense.
very Chicago
Yes.
newscast. So I love that I got to land there. When I came back to television after touring with Straight No Chaser, I went to WGN and I was a nightside reporter. And I did more hard news again, the
Fires,
crime and the
yes,
fires and
yes.
all kinds of politics and stuff. And then they moved me to the morning show, thankfully, because I love the morning show schedule. In 2012. So
How early? So what is your? You get asked this all the time. Like, what's
Yeah.
your schedule?
Yeah,
What
it's a
time do you-
bizarre schedule. So
Yeah.
I'm up every morning at 2:20, Jamie, on the
Wow.
nose.
So
And
when do you go
I-
to sleep?
I go to bed at like 8 o'clock.
That's
On
not
the
that
weekends,
bad.
I kind of
Okay.
just blow it off. But so I'm up very early.
Yes.
The Glencoe police officers too. They kind of like follow me out of town sometimes. Like, wait, is this someone stealing a
Right.
car? Like they're like right there.
Yes.
Sometimes they're at the end of my driveway. I'm like, no, guys, it's okay. Like I'm getting up. Like
Okay.
I'm wondering if they recognize me in my car by now. But
Yeah.
I'm always
Who
like,
else is out
see
there
them.
at that time?
No one.
Right.
No one. But there's always like a car by Dundee. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
It must be sort of nice though to be up at that time.
It's not ideal.
Okay.
I don't think you ever really get used to it.
Yeah.
I take a nap in the afternoon.
Okay.
But then what's nice about the schedule
Mm-hmm.
with the morning show is that I'm around in the evening. So my daughter, when she's home from school, I'm helping with homework. I'm taking her to swim practice. I'm driving, taking her to friends' houses. So it's really great for when you have kids.
Yeah.
When my dad was, when we were growing up, I feel like he had so many evenings where he was so stressed out of the news, and we didn't
Right.
get to see him a lot during the week.
Right.
So I feel, the morning show does have its pros, but I'm sure the morning show schedule is going to catch up to me eventually.
At some
and I'll
point.
just,
Well, it hasn't yet. It hasn't
yeah,
yet.
exactly.
Right, and your dad was on Chicago Tonight, so
Right.
I mean, just by the name, it was
Right.
at nighttime,
It
and I'm
was,
sure
yep.
just a different schedule
Right.
there. What about that side of being a reporter and an anchor do you see as the most fulfilling part of
Yeah.
for you?
Well, I love what I love about our newscast and being in news is that you really do get to show a reflection of the communities. And in Chicago and its suburbs, you can't find a more diverse, population than our media market. So every single day is fun and it's interesting. I mean, we have our frustrations in news, but it's impossible to get bored doing it because the information changes. And so to be able to be a window into different communities is pretty remarkable and is a true privilege.
Yeah.
I think now when information is so diluted on the internet and people are confused about what is real and what is not and what is AI and what's a conspiracy theory and who's a pundit and who's a reporter, I think that local news has never been more important and more
Right.
critical for
Yeah.
our understanding of what's happening in our own communities. And I truly think like a local broadcast and our social media platforms that showcase what we do have never been more important. Because if you're scrolling on Instagram, you're seeing a lot of just noise and a lot of bad information. And that is fueling, I think, a culture here that's become very toxic.
Yeah,
and I
a
think,
hysteria almost
it is.
about what's happening, and
yeah. And I think that we're one location where you can feel grounded and know that we are getting most of the stuff right. Do we get everything right? No, we
Yeah.
don't. We make mistakes too. But the journalists in Chicago, I can positively say, are doing a good job getting accurate information.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's most fulfilling, especially in today's climate.
I love that. That was one of my questions. Is going to be how do you? What's your take on some of the change that's going on in the landscape, the news landscape?
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
It honestly is, and I think that people get their sources. It almost become an echo chamber. You want to hear your own opinions echoed right back to yourself, so you follow people online that you agree with, and therefore you're getting their information from them and not journalists who are unbiased in their reporting. Now, some people watching this be like, no, the media is liberal, left-leaning, this and this, and I'm telling you, it's not true. Our newsroom is diverse with conservatives, with liberals, with progressive, whatever you want to call us. It is a diverse group of people, but I can tell you that we are all committed to accurate information.
Right.
And so, it's frustrating and it's terrifying, and I'm very, very concerned for, the next generation getting their information. Well, it's not even the next generation; it's the current generation. It's my parents' generation.
And are they even getting information? I mean,
Yeah.
they're just really, like you said, they're just getting posts.
Yeah.
They're not
I think that
behind it.
cable network is all garbage. I think all of it.
Yeah.
I think that there's a couple of maybe some news blocks here and there, but when you hear people firing off opinions on Fox News or MSNBC, I think you're doing yourself a complete disservice. You want to hear your own information back. Look, I don't fault people for watching that. I think that, as long as you have a diverse source of information, that's good. But if you're getting all your information from MSNBC only or from Fox News only, you're doing yourself a real disservice.
I hear you. I think you said something a little earlier around journalists. I mean, I think that's the key word there too. Versus the pundits and sort of everyone else you're talking about. It's all sort of become mixed.
Yeah.
And journalism seems to have gone by the wayside.
It has,
of it.
yeah.
The idea of tracking down and reporting and doing this whole fact checking and all of that.
Right, it is, and and I think in local news we're doing our best to keep up with everyone switching to their phones and to the scroll.
In My Hometown is brought to you by the place that brings us all together, Hometown Coffee and Juice. If you're jonesing for a delicious avocado toast, berry bowl, make your own salad, something sweet, Hometown has you covered. Hometown makes you feel welcome. Planning a milestone birthday, a corporate or fundraising event, or just celebrating something special? I know just the place. Uptown at Hometown Coffee and Juice. This cozy lounge-style private event space is the perfect spot for you. It's made for memorable moments. Book your next gathering today.
I think a good analogy, I've heard this once, is, okay, so everyone's making hamburgers, right? McDonald's and everyone. So are you going to just stop making, the Al Cheval burger, the best burger, that I can think of, just because everyone's, eating McDonald's? No, we're going to still keep it quality and do our best. And not say, hey, we're going to stop making the Al Cheval burger and not ever eat it because, you can get a McDonald's hamburger for, $2. So I think that we're more committed to quality in reporting, and it's a little different on the local level, right? I mean, we're not with President Trump's journalist crew. We're not. That's a different category.
Yes.
But ultimately, I think that reporters are committed to accuracy, to asking good questions, and to giving information that people can make an informed decision. And again, not just hear your own opinions echoed back in all the media that you choose.
Yeah, I love that. And I think too, just because something's hard doesn't mean that you shouldn't be doing it, or that we, can't make a little bit of an impact. I will say that you mentioned Au Cheval and how amazing those hamburgers are, and Small Cheval is opening in Wilmette.
I know. I was hoping that Glencoe was going to get it.
Us too.
I mean, I love Wilmette, and it's funny because my brother and I always talk about the downtown that we grew up in Wilmette compared to what it is today. Like growing up, we had C.J. Arthur's, which I loved. I used to even work
Chuck
there.
Wagon.
Chuck Wagon is still there. I think my picture is still up at Chuck Wagon.
Oh, is it? I'm gonna go look.
Yeah.
Okay. I worked at Gold Medal Cleaners. I don't know if that's still there. What else? There's a bakery. That a lot has changed.
Yes.
It's become very the place to go is certainly the restaurant scene.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Now.
Wilmette's incredible. I mean, Glencoe. I mean, it truly I've talked about this again among friends. We just had our 30th high school reunion class of 1995. If you want to do some math and figure out how old I am. But the North Shore I remember it being very pretty growing up, and I remember feeling lucky. Like, we live in Wilmette, and I remember my girlfriend was in Glencoe, and I would take the train to see her, and it was so pretty growing up. But now it's even prettier. It's even nicer now.
Yep.
It's even more of a privilege to live here in these neighborhoods. the whole North Shore, like it's remarkable. And
I couldn't agree
you-
more.
yeah.
I love the people too, and I love that so much is changing and
Yeah.
so much is growing. I mean, certainly,
Yeah.
it's amazing. You have been in Glencoe for how long did you say?
Been in Glencoe for 8 years.
Yeah.
So we moved in 2017. I mean, just the similar story that you hear. We had a house in the city and just wanted a little more space. I think the city, has its frustrations. It has a really difficult education system right now that I didn't want to have to deal with that. And honestly, I as much as I love Wilmette, I just wanted to do something a little different. So we looked in Wilmette we looked in Glencoe and Winnetka.
Right.
Just to mix it up a little bit. My
Yeah.
brother moved like 3 blocks from the house where we grew up. He's
Oh,
like
that's
right there.
great. And
Yeah.
is your dad still in?
Yeah, so they
Yeah.
lived in the city forever, but they decided they wanted to be a little closer to the kids, so
Okay.
they moved to Northbrook.
Oh, so great.
Yeah, so they're
that's
they're
not
like
far.
they're like an 8-minute drive down.
Yeah, isn't
Dunedin.
that wonderful?
Yeah, it's
That's
great.
so
Yeah,
great.
it's fantastic.
Dan, I'm curious. What do people come up to you? Do younger people come up and ask you about advice of trying to break into the
They do,
industry?
yeah.
What do you say to them?
I tell them that early on in their careers, if I speak to journalism students, if they tell me that they want to be like, the line I heard so much is, I want to be the next Katie Couric. I'm like,
Yes.
okay, good goal.
Right.
That's a great goal. I wanted to be the next, anchor in Chicago. But I think
I wanted
that
to be the next Jane Pauley.
Right, and those are good. Those are
what
good
before.
goals. I think that's great.
Yes.
But I think for a journalism student, you need to ask yourself first and foremost: do you want to tell other people's stories? Okay, if the answer is yes, great, this is a good career for you. But if you just want to be on TV and be the star, and that's your only goal, you need to really kind of think about, that's a perfectly good goal. I love that goal. I was like, I want to be Matt Lauer. I want to be, well, not anymore. I want to be Matt Lauer.
I don't
But,
think anyone wants to be
I'm
Matt Lauer.
thinking,
I'm
we're going
just
back to,
joking.
late
Right.
90s, early 2000s
Right,
here.
right.
But I mean, I wanted to be a big,
Yeah.
TV star.
Yeah.
And but I also knew that I saw what my dad did in his career to work to get to becoming the host of Chicago Tonight.
Yeah.
It's a grind. You need to be out there reporting. You need to be in the communities. You need to be telling people stories and putting the focus on the people that you are doing stories on and not on yourself. Now, inevitably, you need to have confidence and love to be on camera and know that thousands of people are watching every day, but you are ultimately telling other people's stories. And I still take that job very seriously. And I know our reporters do too. So I think that's a good question to ask yourself.
Yes.
Do you want to tell other people's stories, or do you want to just be the star? And you ideally, it's okay to want to be a star, but you want to be you want to be able to tell other people's stories.
Yeah, and I think that also will help. It'll help dictate, where you're going to go and how you're going to be able to sort of make that dream come true, and the sort of stamina that you have for it, because it is about doing for others and sort of being able to do that. I love it. I so appreciate you coming. I have some I'm going to move over to
Please.
some rapid.
Yes,
we're going to
yeah,
pivot
absolutely.
to rapid fire questions.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Rapid fire.
Because
Okay.
we don't have a
Cool.
lot of time left.
Yeah,
Okay.
no problem.
So what's on your nightstand?
On my nightstand would be my cell phone charger, and
No, that's good.
It's whatever book
Yeah.
I'm reading at the
Okay.
time. I need to find a new one. Here we go.
Okay.
So open to suggestions.
All right, good. We've
Yeah.
got some. I'll
Right.
share them later.
Mhm.
What are you listening to?
Honestly, I listen to.
Straight No Chaser.
I don't listen to any
Oh,
acapella
okay.
music.
Oh, okay.
It's like eating the food with the restaurant where you work.
Yes.
I just don't. I love, honestly, my true heart is classical piano, specifically
Okay.
Chopin and Beethoven and Bach. Classical piano just hits right here in la corazon.
I
right
love
here.
that.
Yeah.
Makes you feel good. Advice to give your younger Dan.
My younger Dan, I would say, don't worry so much about what people think of your appearance, especially online.
Okay, I love that. I love that. Your mantra or your words to live by.
If you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans.
Oh, I love that.
Because I did not know I was going to leave my job at ABC to be an a cappella singer, I'll tell you that.
Right. That's great. Do you hit the snooze button for your wake up?
I do not. I think the
Okay.
snooze button is a death sentence. You're just procrastinating, and I do not procrastinate, and I'm never ever late for anything ever.
Okay, I love that. And the best thing about our hometown.
I will say our neighborhood friends. We have a great circle of, I mean, within 4 blocks, we have this great neighborhood that look out for each other's kids. We have dinner parties together. We walk each other's dogs. We've taken trips together. And I think a lot of people in the North Shore would agree, like that immediate neighborhood sense of community, can't beat it anywhere.
I agree. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
This
you,
was a
Jamie. I really
pleasure.
enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm
really.
excited for this podcast,
Thank
and I'll help
you.
spread the word. And I think you're onto something here,
Thank
because
you.
I think people in North Shore, we have great stories to tell.
I agree. I couldn't agree more.
Good. Thanks, Jamie.